tonight I'm watching a wild, mind-bending movie from what I heard called The Jacket. Now from the trailer and from what I heard about this movie, it's about this guy who he was a veteran and they're gonna put him in a mental asylum and run some kind of test on him, alien style. I would say MK Ultra type of style. And it's gonna unlock some crazy abilities for him to be able to, well, they think they're doing it to work on his mental health issues, but they accidentally unlock some kind of dimensional quantum physics thing that's gonna give him the ability to go into the future and come back and put things together and dismantle things. So the concept alone is crazy. Right now, I've been really getting into a lot of psychological thrillers, mixed for good, cozy entertainment, you know. So before I get into this movie, I gotta do the snack of the night, because none of this works without the snack of the night. Then I'm gonna come back, watch this movie, and we're gonna chop it up. I love having these discussions because the point of this page is to find movies that matter. Not just content stuff that just drops and it comes and goes, you forget about it. Not just, oh, they put it out for the box office and they made this and they remade that. I'm looking for movies that matter so we can have good discussions on this channel. You could drop your comments and let's build. Let's have a good time, you know? This is what movies are all about. Let's get into it. So, snack of the night, movie time, then we're gonna talk about it. Let's get into it. So I'm here in Costco. You know, sometimes for the snack of the night, less could be more. Actually, I'm gonna have to put those back because rather than get those strips, these are like restaurant style chips. Yeah, it's more my speed. We're gonna rock with this one. I don't say this too often. I've actually never seen a movie like that. Yeah, you can find similar movies, but down to the T, this movie's very unique. I say that in a good way. It's a really good movie. One small caveat. If you're somebody who doesn't like having any questions or anything being open to a little bit of interpretation at the end, I don't know if this is the movie for you. But if you're into psychological thrillers, you're gonna really want to get into this movie. I promise you. It trusts your intelligence, though. It doesn't make you feel stupid. That's one thing I really respect, is that it respected us as the audience, where it was complicated enough for us to figure it out. So you do have that challenge in a good way. Like, oh, okay, so this connects with that. Oh, it leaves that room for you to anticipate something, figure it out, and feel satisfied. But at the same time, it doesn't make you feel dumb, where you just in there just not knowing what's going on, you know. You know, like certain movies, they just get so complicated you kind of just give up. This isn't one of those, but it does leave a certain room for interpretation. Another reason why this movie is relevant in 2026, it puts the movie first. Maybe because it's a product of the 2000s, maybe before the algorithm and chasing this and that and the third. It's not following the stencil of what the formula is or what's in style. It's going based on whatever the writer, at least my interpretation was, whatever the writer wanted you to feel and experience, they did that. They didn't just keep stopping and go, wait, let me just fix the algorithm, or maybe this is gonna, it's not focused on that whole bubblegum effect. There were a lot of times where they could have spoon-fed you and didn't. It does it in a way that's natural, but without having to follow the stencil of, okay, this is like a carbon copy of that, or if we do it this way, it's gonna sell more, if that makes sense to you. Now, one thing that this movie really impressed me on, especially for a movie to come out in the 2000s, was the mood. Mood is something that I look at more like a modern technique. And when I say mood, I'm talking about everything down to the look of it, the feeling of it, the sound of it, that gritty diner that you'll see the girl come out of, the wardrobe. It's just one of those things that feel very immersive and makes you feel like you're there and like this town holds secrets or something like that. And that's something that I feel like a lot of the movies that came out in the 2000s, they did mood really well in terms of like the storyline, but the look of it was kind of dry a lot of the times. But nowadays, with color correction and digital cameras and effects, LUTs, there's a lot of technology that helps you create mood. So you see mood being a big factor in a lot of new movies. But for this movie to take place in 2005, I believe, they really impressed me on the mood that they created. You know, when you watch a movie like Twilight, or if you see any kind of small town thriller where everything seems questionable, maybe it has like a bluer tint, maybe that gas station just has a little bit of too much grittiness around everywhere, maybe that neighbor is very questionable the way they rake their leaves and don't smile at anybody. A lot of movies rely on that collective mood to help you feel immersed in the story, and a lot of people skip over that. This movie doesn't. This movie did that mood thing very well, and especially for it to take place in the 2000s, I thought was really ahead of its time. I'll say David Fincher is great on mood. When you look at a movie like Fight Club and it creates like this gritty town, very rich in detail. This movie felt like it was kind of inspired by that a little bit. Here's something that's not easy to do that this movie did very well. It blended intellect with emotion. Now, what do I mean by that? So, a lot of times people, for whatever reason, feel like they have to choose one or the other. A movie could feel very emotional and just not be that deep in terms of the writing because they're just trying to make it so digestible and maybe like a date night kind of movie, but they still try to make it like a psychological thriller. No, this one had the perfect blend of intellect and emotion. It's intellectually rich to where it's bringing you in, it's making you ask the right questions, not too much, not too little, but it's holding your attention and keeping things suspenseful while at the same time being touching. And when I say that, think like, you know how Stranger Things, it really blended like all of those moments, but at the same time, you remember how Stranger Things made you feel where you really cared about the characters, but you're also immersed in the action that's going on? Well, this is not an action film, but it does keep you emotionally attached while trying to figure out the suspense. So it's not one or the other. They didn't have to choose between, is it going to be an intellectually rich movie or something that makes you feel something? It did both perfectly. One piece of advice for anyone who's about to watch this film: please don't waste time on trying to figure out by reviews, is it worth watching? Why do I mention the reviews? Two reasons. Number one, this whole review culture has gotten way too far. And I personally used to be like that too. Before I watched any movie, I had to go look up the reviews. Is it worth watching? Is it worth watching? Wondering if I'm gonna like it based on other people. And I'm actually gonna do a separate video on just that whole review culture. It's gotten way too out of hand nowadays. Another reason too is some people call themselves giving this movie low ratings. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't for them. Maybe it left them with too many questions. Maybe they like things spoon-fed to them. For whatever reason, I realize this review culture has gotten a little bit too far. Now, somebody might say, but isn't that what you're doing right now? You're kind of giving a review? No, I'm not doing reviews. What I'm doing is I'm shedding light on movies that I believe matters. I'm not sitting here telling you do this instead of do that, do that. No, I'm just giving my opinion on movies that I believe matter. And I believe this one matters. So I would say just skip the whole review thing. Some people call themselves giving this low ratings. I'm gonna look into why they thought that. Hey, that's their opinion. I'm not gonna knock them for having one. Everybody has an opinion. But a lot of times you miss out on a lot of good moments following what other people say. Now, if it's a blatant flop, and not even a flop money wise, but if something just didn't hit the mark and everybody's telling you don't waste your time on it, that's different. I don't think this falls into that category. So check it out and let me know what you think. Drop a comment because I gotta know your perspective. I want to know how you interpreted this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think this movie is one of the most original concepts that you've ever seen? Cool. And one more thing before I go. Quick question. Should you watch this movie by yourself, with your family, with your significant other, or with friends? I'm going to say you could definitely watch it by yourself because it'll definitely give you time to think. You can watch it with your significant other because there's a lot of dynamics in there that will be relatable. As a family movie, it depends on who's watching, because if you got smaller kids in there. If you're watching it with anybody who's like Gen A, Gen Z with a shorter attention span, not saying they all have one, but a lot of them do. I don't know if it's for them. But if you are Gen A or Gen Z and you do have a natural interest in movies, I want you to watch this one. But yeah, I'll say maybe skip it for family night. And finally, should you watch it with friends? If your friends genuinely have an interest in good movies, you could definitely watch it with them. If they're gonna get a little tipsy and start yapping, no, don't watch it with them. This movie does not need any level of distractions. You gotta pay attention to every detail. No doom scrolling. With that being said, check it out. Let me know what you think. And I can't wait to see how you guys break this down from your perspective. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with another one very soon.